JP.
Right, hello there, everyone. Welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another live stream. I'm here with two all-timers, mate. We were booming mega conversations previous to the stream, so hence the little bit of lateness, but it's fine. And yeah, I'm buzzing to get this one underway. We were supposed to do this show last week. I ended up going through a few complications, so we had to delay it to this week. But lateness is always greatness, you know what I mean? Let me introduce the gentleman on the panel as well. So we've got my man Premzy, the Arsenal fan. He's been on the channel before as well. How are we, Prems?
Oh, good.
Can you guys hear me?
What? Yeah. James's Wi-Fi moving like fucking Van Dijk post surgery, mate. That's what's happened.
Yeah, I thought it was me for a second. Nah, I'm all good. I'm all good, man.
Is my Wi-Fi doing the Bandulu?
No, it's all right now. It's all right now still.
Oh, is it all right? As long as it's all right now. It seems like there's a bit of delay on my part, so if there's any awkward silence, chat, just blame me. Don't blame these guys. These two will mix it up for after show anyway. But now, Prems, you good, my G?
Yeah, all good, man. I'm looking forward to this Saliba Van Dijk back and forth. For people that don't know, we've already had a little bit of a back and forth on Saeed's show earlier on. It looks like we're bringing the debate into this one, man, and into the Liverpool courtroom. You get me, man's going to get slaughtered, innit?
I'm looking forward to seeing what Guni says on this debate as well, because he'll be like the sort of neutral bystander, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of Guni, the Chelsea fan, the man that I've been wanting to be honest, Guni, we've done a couple of shows together now. I think not loads, but a couple. And every time, bro, it's been an absolute pleasure. So I'm made up to get you on the channel. Thank you for coming on. How are you today?
I'm all good, man, and it feels like a long time coming being on your platform. I've been a big fan of yours since before I even the camera and all that. So it feels good to be here, man. And big up, obviously, everyone in the chat. Big up yourself, Premzy, as well. For this debate, it feels good that I don't even have really a chip in the game for this one. So I'm more of a neutral. I'm able to just kick back and not get my blood pressure up too high. You get me? I'm going to leave that to you and Prems.
Jeez. I was going to say as well, chat, just because these guys aren't getting paid to be here, so make sure that you go and subscribe to their channel so that they get a return of investments on the time they're donating to the channel. I always like to see people always getting an increase of subscribers and whatnot. I know there's been a few complications around me Wi-Fi, the consistency of the stream, so I appreciate everyone who's tuned in and whatnot. But we'll get right into it then. So I was going to start off with your two match, because you used to have a match on the weekend. But go ahead then, Prems. What are we saying then, G? We continue in this Virgil Van Dijk debate, because, bro, can I make the claim what I was making earlier?
Go
on. So pretty much I was going to say that that Virgil van Dijk for me this season, if you're not going to put him as the best, I would say he's still been top 2 or 3. And I think he's found more of the old form, which I don't think is what you disagree with. Maybe the top 2 or 3, but you might agree with me that he's found more of his old form. Now, I think the reason why maybe you don't see it the way I do is because of the standards that he was before, and the fact that those standards were so incredibly high to a point where, bro, like he's always going to fall short of his own success. Whereas when you were talking about Saliba on Saeed's channel, I just thought, I like Saliba, and I do think he can be world class. I just don't like this whole argument, like, because he's 22 and because he's been doing well, he's better. I don't think that's the way it works. I think you've got to wait and see. Can he ever reach the levels that Virgil van Dijk was touching? Of course, could he have a better career? No doubt. Could he ever be the peak player that Virgil was? I think that's difficult, bro, because even if you look at like some of the best all-time Prem centre-backs, they'll even say it themselves, G. Like, that version of Virgil van Dijk was just different. And that was the claim that I was making. And even though he might not be that now, bro, like, to say that, like, Gabriel's being better than him was so... I thought it was disingenuous, you know what I mean? I didn't think it was an accurate statement whatsoever. So I'll let you respond, and then I'll bounce off what you respond with. Because
you know what? Yeah, James. Look. I tell you, you dickhead. I tell you straight. Yeah. Basically, I'm not comparing the careers of Saliba and Van Dijk. undoubtedly, if you said to me now, who would you take at their peak right now? Like if it was their best, I would take Van Dijk, because for me, Van Dijk was solid. Them couple of years that he was at Liverpool, didn't put a foot wrong. He was the best centre back in world football for me. But I'm going off right now, as of last season and this season. You get me? Because that's the most recent time. And for what I can say is, if somebody said to me, would you swap Van Dijk now as he is for Saliba? I would say no. And that's not me shitting on Van Dijk. I just honestly believe Saliba, maybe because I watch every single Arsenal game. I don't watch every single Liverpool game. You get me? I watch it as and when I can fit it in. But what I see Saliba has brought to the Arsenal team is immense, bro. I think I seen a stat as well as we got off as well. I was watching a Rio Ferdinand stat, and he was saying something about Saliba in 8 games is not being dribbled past once, which is mad when you deep it. For the age of 22 years old, to play with so much maturity and have such a big impact on a team, that basically when he got injured, we fell off from winning the title last season. It just shows the level that he's at. And yeah, I did mention Gabriel because I think Gabriel doesn't get a lot of plaudits. And Gabriel, is a fantastic centre-back. If you pull up some of Gabriel's stats, bro, they're crazy, I'm telling you. So, like, obviously, I don't really talk about stats too much because I let my eyes do the watching and decide from there. But if somebody said to me now, pick Saliba or pick Gabriel to have in your team, I'm going with Saliba. And I've also said to you before about the reasons why, because of his ceiling, the years he's got left in his tank. And he just fits us right down to the ground. Where I think if Van Dijk ended up coming to Arsenal and Saliba went to Liverpool, I think Van Dijk will probably digress and Saliba will probably progress at Liverpool. I just think that they're at that stage of their career right about now. But if you're talking about overall, over what they've both done, obviously there's not really much of a debate there because Saliba hasn't had that time of length in football just yet. But as of now, bro, like I said, I even said to you about Van de Ven, bro. I think he's been better than Van Dijk this season, and that's not me shitting on him. I just giving credit where credit's due. Yeah. And the one thing about me, people, as well, I just say it as it is, and I give my opinion. If a player's shit on my team, I'm telling you the shit. If somebody's giving me some reason to actually sing about him, I'll do that, because I honestly think in the next 2-3 years, Saliba probably won't be at Arsenal. He will probably go to a Real Madrid, because that's the caliber of centre-back I think he is. I might be wrong, but that's just my opinion on it at the moment.
Shit. No, that's fair, bro. That's fair. Now, do you know what, though? I think that's fair. Gunny, just to get your input on it as well, because I think me and Premz, because we're funny, lad. This is what Northerners are like. We start debating about shit and we realise we agree on a lot, but then we're debating about something else. But I was going to say that, what's your stance on it? Because I agree with Premz. I think that the ceiling for Saliba, I think Saliba at 22 was already surpassed anything that Virgil did at that age, because Virgil was at Celtic at this point. Just got out of the Netherlands, and he weren't even in like a top team in the Netherlands. It weren't like he established himself at a PSV or an Ajax or anything like that. So he didn't even have a resume coming from there. At least Saliba got a resume coming out of France. He's came into Arsenal and he's made himself the best centre-back in that team. And I do think Saliba's top 5 minimum best centre-backs in the league. So I don't want it to seem like I'm disrespecting him. I just think that, and again, I don't dispute it, could even be me biased, bro. I just think that Virgil van Dijk this season has been so great to a point where I'm like, okay, he's not what he was, but he never needed to be that to be the best centre-back in the league. Because if you remember, Gunny, when he was the best centre-back in the league, bro, it weren't even close. You know what I mean? Like, Diaz weren't in the league at that point. And all the
he was the best. He was the best defender in the world at that point.
Yeah,
Van Dijk was the best centre-back in the world at that point.
Yeah, that's not
about 2-3 seasons.
Yeah, that's definitely not up for debate. The Van Dijk thing, when he was at the peak of his powers, I think there was nobody that was even remotely close to what he was at that time. He was kind of in his own category. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of William Saliba, I mean, to those that used to watch me on Back Again with Troops, even before Saliba set foot in Arsenal, I said to Troops, I watched this guy at Saint Etienne playing next to Wesley Fofana. And I am on record. This is why I love YouTube. I'm on record saying that boy from 18, 19 years old, to me, looked like he was going to be a generational centre-back. And I was so heartbroken when it was Arsenal that signed him, because I wanted us to get him. And now you're starting to see the fruits of this guy's labour. You're starting to see now the proof is in the pudding. He is absolutely immense. Now, in terms of, is he better than Van Dijk right now. In terms of performance-wise, yes, I think he is in terms of performances-wise. However, is Saliba better than the peak of what Van Dijk was? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. He's not quite there yet. Can he reach that peak? 100%. I still stand by the fact that he's going to be probably top 2 or 3 centre-backs in the world in the next couple seasons. 100%. Just because I'm a Chelsea fan, I still tell the truth. Do you know what I mean? And his performances, and you've seen it, man. Since he's come into the Arsenal team, he's absolutely transformed them. Defensive-wise, he's absolutely transformed them. Massive step up. So, look, for me, the big indicator is usually a player's class when they come into the squad and you can see that, they're now finishing several league positions higher up in the table. And if that guy has been a main contributor to that squad, you already see the quality in that squad. And that's exactly what William Saliba's done. And just pointing to what he done towards pointing towards Arsenal towards the tail end of last season, respectfully, Premzy. When he wasn't in that lineup, you saw what happened. There was goals that you guys conceded that I knew.
Yeah, Premzy will agree with
that. Yeah, we fell off.
That's what I mean. Yeah, and I'm watching Arsenal, I'm thinking, right, you know what? If Saliba was there, this guy's positioning is a lot better. He's not letting him beat him there. Do you know what I mean? He's beating him aerially here or whatever. It's these things. And with Saliba as well, he's wise beyond his years. He plays with the maturity of a centre-back that is about 27 or 28 years old. And these are the things that mark generational players. When you see these guys on the pitch and they're so young, but they're playing beyond their years, you already know what's to come later on. And Saliba's no different, in my honest opinion. So really, to summarize, James, sorry for the long out answer, but as of now, I think Saliba is definitely the better performer, 100%. But that's not to underestimate Van Dijk's importance, though. It's not to underestimate Van Dijk's importance, because I do feel that if Van Dijk was to get a long layoff, you guys might struggle a little bit from a defensive perspective. So, do you know what I mean? There's no disrespect to Van Dijk either. Because I knew what he was. Fantastic player. Unfortunate to get the injury that he got at the age that he was. If this was an injury that he got maybe 21, 22, he might be able to rehab himself a little bit and get back to his normal form. But, once you touch the 30s and you pass the 30s, it's harder to get that recovery again. So, yeah, that's just my stance.
Nice. Can I just say, this Chelsea man speaks some sense. You get me, fam? I'm telling you, I've been on a few pods with some wild man. You get, send me that sort code account number, G. I'll send you over the piece. Nah, big up to you, man. Agree with everything, man. Agree with it all.
Bro, honestly, I knew this is why I knew this show would bang, because listen, because the one thing I can appreciate is, even though I disagree, I can appreciate someone's opposing view if they have something to back it up with. And I think based on performance, I don't think it's a ludicrous thing to say Saliba's being above Van Dijk. I haven't watched Saliba as much as I've watched Van Dijk. I would assume that's maybe partially why I've came to the conclusion that I have. To say that Saliba is not one of the best centre-backs in the league is disingenuous. And to say that there's not a drop-off for Arsenal's point of view when he's not in the team is so incredibly disingenuous. It's untrue. And listen, I like Saliba so much. And would I take Saliba? Absolutely. Because, Premzy, we were talking about it earlier. The ceiling there, listen, the ceiling's never guaranteed for anybody, but the probability that his trajectory just keeps going like this is very, very high for me. And I think if he does keep going like this, you are talking about a generational centre-back. You're not talking about some dude who's just, I'm trying to think of a good centre-back who's fine, you know what I mean, for a couple of seasons. Like Mamadou Sakho at PSG. PSG, Mamadou Sakho was class, bro. He had 200 appearances. He was making appearances in the French team. But I think Saliba, in terms of ability, passing range, reading the game, pace, physical attributes, you're talking about someone who can go. Even if he doesn't even need to be what Virgil Van Dijk was for those 2 or 3 seasons. He doesn't even need to be that to be considered generational. Because I think there was world-class centre-backs who had 10, 15 world-class seasons who might have never hit that standard that Virgil Van Dijk hit for that 3-year spell. But Saliba could do that. But even if he doesn't, he's still probably going to have a career where, like you said, Premzy earlier, he'll probably go to a Real Madrid or something. If Arsenal don't win trophies and stuff like this, he'll probably go somewhere like there. He'll win stuff with his national team because he plays for France. And I just think his trajectory is going in the right way.
Do you know what, James? Do you know what's so great about Saliba? And it's underlooked as well, that he gets the best out of players that are around him as well. So, for example, I touched on Gabriel. Now, believe it or not, yeah, obviously we know Gabriel's a little rash at times, but the reason for that is because he's our more our front-footed centre back. You get me? Where he will be the aggressor, Saliba will mop everything up at the back. You know what I mean? But he's brought a new level out of Gabriel, and not just that, Ben White on the right-hand side as well. You get me? You can see that players are comfortable with him. It's allowed us to push forward up the pitch as well, because our midfielders know, right, if I go and break now, Saliba and Gabriel are mopping that up at the back. It's all right. Do you know what I mean? If it doesn't happen, that's like 1 in 10 chance that that's going to happen. So that's how you know this guy is going to become world class. I wouldn't say he's world class right now, but I know he's definitely going to become world class, because it takes some player to make everyone else around you improve, especially in a defensive position. And maybe you can say he's been a little bit lucky in the sense that Gabriel is a very, very good centre-back as well. And they've developed a beautiful partnership between them where the understanding is key. But like I say, I put it all down to Saliba, because the composure this guy's got on the ball, the calmness, he lets everyone else have that other second to think as well. So that's something that's very underrated about him. And I don't think people talk about it enough.
Bro, it makes me feel like you're talking about Virgil Van Dijk and Joel Matip, you know? Because you know when Matip plays next to Virgil, bro, he can play better than Virgil at times. No, honestly, because, get on this, Guni. Like, I think these performances, say if Virgil Van Dijk and Matip are, like, on average, I'm just estimating in my head, but if they play 20 games with each other, Matip usually plays better than Virgil in about 11 of those games. Not because he's better than Virgil, but that partnership seems to bring something else out of Matip. But when Matip plays by himself, he looks nowhere near the caliber of centre-back. Chat, you know what I mean? Like, when he plays by himself, say he's playing next to Joe Gomez, bro, he looks like the giraffe that he comes across as. The picture is what you're getting. But when he plays next to Virgil, he looks like a silky, calm centre-back. He's going to drive it forward. He's going to make things happen on the ball and off the ball. And would you agree with that, Premz? Because even like what Sam says here about how Gabriel got spun by Darwin Núñez on international break, do you think that, and even last season, like Gabriel was still present, but Saliba wasn't. Do you think Saliba brings something out of Gabriel as a partnership?
Yeah, 100.
You know
100, bro. He gives the whole team something.
Yeah.
He gives the whole team something. Because, first of all, the back line, when he's in there, they're a lot more confident. You can see it because he just mops everything up. The midfield are a lot more confident as well because they know that they can push on because they've got a Saliba behind him. Say, for example, last season when we had to take out Saliba and put in a Rob Holding, then you think the Thomas Partey or Jorginho, whoever it might be in that defensive role, they'll have to sit back a little bit. They can't really get involved up top as much as they might want to because in the back of their mind, they know, Rob Holding's got a mistake in him here or it's not as secure. But Saliba gives that assurance to everybody on the pitch. And like I keep saying, I'm not one to make mistakes and say why we bottled the league. But as a footballing man, I'm not dumb enough to not look at the situation around us. Yeah, we had 2 big injuries in regards to Tomiyasu and Saliba. So at the back, we were kind of messed up, really. We couldn't really fill the positions properly. Zinchenko was always getting injured. But Saliba, he was the reason, in my honest opinion, why we fully fell off and we end up finishing 5 points adrift from City. Because like people talk about Zinchenko coming in and Gabriel Jesus coming in that particular season. For me, the most important thing was Saliba coming into that back line. Like Guni said, I've been watching this guy since Etienne days. My man's always inside the French Player of the Year awards. He's always in the Team of the Year. And this is from, 18, 19. And even when Fofana went to, I think this is why a lot of Arsenal fans were going mad that Saliba didn't get his opportunity, because when Fofana went to Leicester and was on an absolute mad thing, I was watching Fofana and Saliba together, and Saliba was the main man. Fofana was nothing compared to Saliba.
Saliba was that guy in the league.
Yeah.
I remember constantly being talked about, and he was that dude.
But now I sit back and I actually understand what Arteta done. Obviously, he had a couple close family losses to him.
Yeah.
It probably made sense for him to go and spend that time in France and develop and maybe get his emotions in check and then carry on, move forward. It's like this season, the biggest signing for me was getting Saliba signed onto that contract. And I was saying that for ages. So he's a vital piece to what we're trying to do moving forward, man. And I think a lot of people do give him the respect. And I think people that might not give him that kind of respect yet, they will do soon enough, because when players like Rio Ferdinand and top quality centre-backs are looking at this guy, they might be able to see it from a different perspective as us. Obviously, we've not played at that level or been at the level of these kind of guys. And when they telling you, yo, this guy is serious, sometimes you just got to open your ears and listen, man.
Bro, facts though. Like I like Saliba so much, lad, and I do think he has potential there to be a top class centre back. To be fair, I don't understand why. Do you know today? Like I was just throwing shots in it, which is why I brought up the Konate and Saliba thing. I don't know why he doesn't start above Konate for France. It doesn't make sense to me because I like Konate in it, but if I'm going to be like honest about him, I don't think he's not like a special centre back. He's a beast. He's a tank. He's going to be very useful to our team. I don't see him being generational or any.
Do you know what it is though? I think with the France manager, if I was them, look, I would probably put Saliba in straight away, and it is a bit of an Arsenal bias there, but that's just down to how good he is. But maybe with him being younger as well, he's giving these other lads an opportunity to see, you know what, are these good enough? Because you know what you're getting with Saliba. Like it says it on the tin what it is, you know what I mean? And I think it'll be sometime soon now, you'll see Saliba in there as a regular for a long period of time. He'll be in there for ages, unless he gets injured badly.
Well, also, what happens to Varane? Guni, I'll ask you this. What do you think happens when Varane goes out the team? Does that then lead to what Sam's suggesting here, like maybe a Konate-Saliba partnership with France? Or do you think maybe somebody else goes in that? Because they've got Upamecano as well, but I think he's a little bit...
Yeah, honestly, Upamecano, I don't rate him as the way I do the other centre-backs. And what I'm going to say is going to be quite controversial, but I think Varane should have been phased out of the France team by now anyway, because I don't really think, and the thing is a lot of it is down to injuries with him as well. You know, Real Madrid, they sold him at the right time because he was becoming injury prone. Now he's at Manchester United. You can see the injury issues that have been hitting him ever since he's arrived at Manchester United. So I think just based on that principle, they should be playing Saliba. I mean, based on merit, you know, Saliba's been the better performer. He's been playing more games as well, and he's still young. He can grow into this French team, you know, which is a massive advantage for them. But I just wanted to touch on a point that you said about the partnership with Van Dijk and Matip, because I thought what you said was quite interesting there in terms of Matip's performances when Van Dijk plays. I think it's because of the fact that those two complement each other. And I'll start with Van Dijk. When you're able to read the game as good as Van Dijk, because obviously the further back on the pitch you are, the better vision of play that you have. You can see the game better than most. Yeah. But when you have somebody like Van Dijk who understands how to read the game, who also marshals the defense, push up, come back, do you know what I mean? You watch this man here or whatever, that's a massive help. So basically, in terms of that, it's almost like he's coaching his centre-back. It's almost like he's coaching Matip. It's almost like he's telling him, listen, don't step too far forward when this man occupies this space or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Hang back a little bit for me. Or once we receive the ball in the transition, I'm going to give it to you. You're going to drive forward and you're going to play it to the more advanced players. You can do those things. The best centre-backs in football, every single one of the leaders in the centre-back position, that's what they do. That's called marshalling a defence. That is key in the top level of football. Any successful team that you have, you've got that there. Now, in terms of Saliba, I don't see him being as vocal as these guys. Maybe it's because of his age, and maybe it's because he hasn't been at Arsenal for long enough, so he's trying to respect the seniority around him. However, he's got this thing where he leads by example in the case of he doesn't have to say much, because Gabriel knows if I step too far forward and somebody busts past me, Saliba's there to help me clean up. Saliba just knows where to be. He understands the positioning. That as well, that's another thing that you can't buy. These are instincts that you need. It's very much similar to a striker. You know what I'm saying? Some strikers, you hear them speaking, when they're in front of goal, it's just instinct, and they put the ball away. Similar principle applies to top quality defenders as well.
Do you think, a question to you, Gunny, do you think that Fofana could, because I know he's been getting nothing but injury problems, so I'm not asking for the right here right now, but you can't predict when someone's had those type of injuries, they're going to come back the same. We know very well with Joe Gomez, there was a point in time where we thought Joe Gomez was going to be fucking creme de la creme of centre-backs, English centre-backs. Gets the injuries, life changes. I'd ask you, do you think that Fofana can... Because I think if Fofana stays fit, there's a possibility he's better than Konate. I don't think that's an unfair or a stupid statement to say. If he was able to play consistently, get a little run of games and find his form back to what it was when he was in France, I think you've got yourself a top centre-back there. Is there any possibility for him inserting himself into those French national team conversation. And everything that you said on Matip and Virgil, and then to relate that to Saliba, I agree, bang on. Thought it was bang on assessment.
Based on that, you know, there's a lot of ifs here. Do you know what I mean? So based on him having, you know, a serious injury-free extended period, you know, niggles happen here and there, but the nature of his injuries, they're always long layoffs. You know what I mean? And long layoffs, they will take a bearing on your physicality, things like your explosiveness and things like that. However, let's assume that he comes back, the explosiveness is still there. You know, the confidence is still there as well, because it's also a psychological thing. You don't want to get injured again. But let's say it's all still there. I think there's no reason as to why he shouldn't complement Saliba as another centre-back, because, and I say that from more of a tactical perspective. Now, there may be other centre-backs up for debate that you could say, well, hang on, this guy might be better than him. For example, some people might say, well, Badiashile is French. He should be starting ahead of Wesley Fofana. He's been performing better. It's just the roles of both players. They complement each other. Saliba, I've seen him. He can also play a ball very well, but in terms of, he doesn't need to do that when Fofana's on the pitch, because he also does that very well. Fofana also drives forward. There's qualities that he has that Saliba doesn't. But you see what the other one doesn't have, and it's a balance. And I think that those two are like perfectly yoked to be playing together, especially like the fact that they both came up at Saint Etienne. That's going to be a big plus. So it's going to give Deschamps something to think about, 100%.
No, that makes total sense, that, bro, because when you deep it, look, Fofana, like you touched on, his injury problems or whatnot, but when he gets going, he is a top class centre-back, regardless of what. And we've seen what he can do, because for me, I always say it, the Premier League's the best league in the world. You do it in the Premier League, you can do it anywhere. And if that partnership did start to develop between Fofana and Saliba for France, like you said, they've already got that experience of playing together for a little bit of time now. It would work for them. But the problem is with France, if you notice, they always chop and change their back line. Like sometimes they'll have Pavard in there, they'll have Saliba in there, they'll have Lucas Hernandez in there. That they chop and change. They don't really have a steady back four. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's maybe a tactic that they want to deploy. But I think maybe when he goes, there might be a new manager that might come in and kind of like solidify that back line. But it's still early for both of them. They're both very young as well. If you deep it, they're not even in the prime of their careers, really. When they get to 26, 27, by then they'll have bagfuls of Premier League experience. They'll be playing week in, week out. Game time will be up. And I don't think there'll be any debate, really, for who's going to go in. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But top centre-backs.
Yeah, facts, bro. France have got it nice when it comes to centre-backs, because that's what everyone was thinking, like Upamecano and Konate was going to be. But I think Upamecano's kind of gone one way, and then Konate, he's done fine. I just think the competition that's just beneath him. Like, if you're going to look at this in a school format, like Konate's in year 11, the year 10s are fucking ballers, though, bro. You know what I mean? Bro, our year got smoked by those year 10s, you know? Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, we were in year 11, we were an all right team, but lad, they had academy players, they had this, that, and the other. We were the letdown at the school. So I think that's going to be something similar with those two. I'll touch on, I'll ask you, Premz, about the game just gone over the weekend, Chelsea and Arsenal, because, you know, you got a good win in the Champions League. We all know you've done fine there. Guni will ask about your European performance later. What did you make of the game against Chelsea on the weekend? Did you think that you maybe got a little bit lucky, or just did what you need to do?
You know what? I just say it as it is. I think both teams got a little bit lucky, but if you asked who played the better football, it was 100% Chelsea for me. Going into the game, I didn't really have that much respect for Chelsea, because let's have it right, over the last year, they've been abysmal. Start of this campaign, they've been abysmal. I wasn't looking at that team and looking at any player individually thinking, you know what, I'm scared of that guy. And I still, to be fair, look at that Chelsea team and think there's not one player in there that I'm looking at like a Haaland or a Saka or even a Rashford at times. You know what I mean? Someone that's going to really hurt you. But they surprised me, because Pochettino, he had the tactics for me perfect, spot on. The way they were pressing the ball, they did not give us any space from the back to really work the ball and play. There were so many misplaced passes. We couldn't find no rhythm in the game. And ultimately, you could say, yeah, maybe they were lucky for getting the penalty, because it hit Saliba's hand. And realistically, how are you going to jump up in it? But if it hits your hand, it hits your hand. It is what it is, isn't it? Some are given, some ain't given. The second goal, 100% luck. Nobody could tell me that Mudryk went for that. You get me? Put the cross in. Raya, bad positioning in. And to be fair, we'll get onto Raya as well. he went into the back of the net. Then we got lucky. Sanchez made a little bit of an error, come to Declan Rice. On another day, it would have went outside the post, but he managed to put it in. And then the goal, the second goal, I think that was just well worked, to be honest with you, from good balling from Saka, Trossard. We know that he gets onto the end of things and scores. But I was actually quite impressed by Chelsea, to be fair. And I think if they can actually keep that level of play for the rest of the season, I think they'll be all right. Where going into that game, I just thought, you know what, there's no way these men are going to be challenging for the top 5. They got a lot of change in the team. The players do need to settle. They've got a lot of injuries, and it seems like a little bit of chaos at Chelsea at the moment. So I didn't really look at it to that way. But from the Arsenal side, it was disappointing that we couldn't really put Chelsea to the sword, because that's what I expected us to do. I didn't think it was going to be a 5-6-0. I did think it was going to be closer, because sometimes form does go out the window when the big boys meet up. But I expected us to dominate, and that's something we didn't do at all. I think Chelsea really pushed the narrative to try to win the game. And ultimately, if I was a Chelsea fan, I would probably be a bit pissed off that I didn't come out with a victory. As an Arsenal fan, you're looking at that thinking, that was a very good point. You get me? If you want to be champions, sometimes we all know if you can't win, don't lose the game. You get me? And that just gives me a bit of hope to say the mentality of these boys are starting to develop. Because if that was Arsenal from 3-4 years ago, best believe we would have probably ended up losing that game 3-1, 4-1, something like that. So you can see that the mentality has definitely switched. But you just got to take your hat off to Chelsea, man. It was a good performance. It was a good performance from them.
Facts, bro. Facts. Guni, any
one sec, Raya. Sorry, let me just talk on Raya for 2 seconds, because this guy, he needs to get dropped to the bench, in my opinion. You get me? I think he's come in, yeah. You got to earn your right to play.
You know what I mean? What's happened to good old Remy?
I told you, man. He just had a you get me. He would have been playing in this game if it weren't for that.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Because when he getting dropped before,
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know if he would have been. Yeah, he has, but I don't understand why, to be honest with you. I think he's brought him out to basically be that sweeper keeper and try to help the defense push up to the halfway line, which it does work at times, but it's very risky. But there's attributes Ramsdale has that Raya doesn't, and one of them attributes is opening his mouth and shouting, knowing how to get the defenders up for the game, knowing how to piss off the opposing fans and get the crowd up for it as well. And all of this has a part to play in the football match. I don't think Ramsdale distribution has been horrendous. I don't think he's really made any mistakes too bad. I think his shot stopping is probably the same as Raya, and I think his positional play is better than Raya, in my honest opinion. So I don't understand why Raya's just coming in and playing loads of games. I have a feeling it might be down to the obligation, if he plays a certain amount of games, that we have to buy him, and we buy him for 20 mil. That's the only thing I'm looking at, because in my opinion, Ramsdale is a better goalkeeper.
Facts. Guni, any input?
From a Chelsea perspective, I do share similar thoughts with Premzy. I never went into that game thinking we was going to get anything. I didn't think we was going to get anything out of this game whatsoever. Based on previous form and obviously where Arsenal are in the table, I thought, this is going to be another disappointing evening at the Bridge. And it kind of was still for me. Do you know what I mean? I felt that, we were brave off the bat. In terms of the penalty, I can see it's very debatable. But like Premzy said, I've seen them given, I've seen them not given. And these things come in swings and roundabouts. And I hate to lean on things like that, but it's the truth. These things do happen in football. It will go against you, it will go for you. Unfortunately for us, it went for us. Unfortunately for them, it went against them. Yeah. Mudrik's goal, for me, everyone, the Chelsea professionals are all trying to say, "Oh yeah, he meant it." If you think he didn't mean that goal, you don't know how good Mudrik is. Yeah, whatever, man. I understand. It's your prop, you know what I mean? But whatever it is, I'm gonna take it and run with it.
Yeah.
In terms of the game getting to 2-2, Pochettino definitely has to look at himself. 100%.
I was gonna say, Poch weren't getting enough slack after that game.
He needs to, because I think when we was 2-0 up, he lost composure too early, and he made some substitutions that were absolutely crippling for us. One of them being Noni Madueke coming on the pitch.
Yeah.
If this guy was not on the pitch, that second goal wouldn't have happened, because Cucurella would have actually had some support from his winger, like he was getting previous to that. But unfortunately, these are the things that happen. Cole Palmer as well. bringing him off the pitch. Literally the only creative outlet at Chelsea that was created any kind of chances. You brought him off the pitch. Raheem Sterling. Now, if you notice, I'm talking about our wide areas. Raheem Sterling, because I felt it was our wide areas that was really giving Arsenal problems. You brought off Raheem Sterling a little bit too early. These are things where, like, if they had stayed on the pitch, perhaps we could have chased off another goal. Do you know what I mean? But Pochettino's definitely got to look at himself for the gung-ho decision that he made. I think he shot the bed a little bit too early. He wanted to protect the lead, which is understandable, but you've got to have a bit more trust in those players. But at the same time, I'm going to say this. The squad is a young squad. So these things are going to happen. They're going to happen because, one, it's a learning curve for them, unfortunately, for us Chelsea fans. And two, one thing youth players are consistently known for is they can have a blinding world-class performance 2 weeks in a row, and the next 2 weeks in a row, they're nowhere to be seen. These are things that are to be expected. So when we don't have too much seniority in our squad in terms of age, then these things are going to turn the corner. However, I saw many good signs in that game, and I don't know if it was because of the fact that Arsenal didn't just sit back for the entire game, so it suited us going forward. But that's definitely going to be a confidence booster for them, regardless of the nature of how, the 2-2 transpired. It's still a massive thing. You've just drawn over the past 18 months. We've had a shocker. We finished bottom half of the table. We're still hovering over the bottom half of the table. So a result like this, it should be a positive for these guys. But I was very disappointed in the manner of which we lost that game. I also feel that, Robert Sanchez was Arsenal's most creative attacker in that game. 2 assists. Yeah, literally 2 assists. And one assist. The second goal. No, the 2 assists. And then the second goal as well. You should be saving that near post, fam. If you got your hand to that ball, I don't care if it's clipped your finger. You're supposed to get that. That's not supposed to go in. Now, if they score off the rebound, right, then that's another thing altogether. Do you know what I mean? Because at that point, it's the roll of the dice. You don't know where that ball is going to ricochet. Is it going to go left? Is it going to go straight to the player? You don't know. But just get a hand to it. Get a strong hand to it and don't let that go in. So I'm very disappointed. And long term, and this is the thing, I said to Chelsea fans, I call things out early, even when it's not cool to say stuff. I told Chelsea fans, I kept my clothes on. When we signed Sanchez, I was seeing too much of my fan base getting naked for this guy, putting out his compilations, these distributions and all this kind of stuff. I said, no, this is not the caliber of goalkeeper that we should be looking at if we want to be competing for major honors somewhere down the line. Do you know what I mean? For me, it's a case of I would have gone for a more older, mature goalkeeper. Well, actually, it doesn't even apply because we did sign him for 12 mil, but the ability for me doesn't translate for you to be first team Chelsea goalkeeper. You've come from Brighton, third choice. For whatever reason, some say he fell out with De Zerbi or whatever. It doesn't matter. Players fall out with managers.
He was third choice for Brighton.
Yeah, he was before we signed him. Before we signed him, he dropped down to third choice, bro. And this is the man that's stepping into number one at Chelsea. Why did we sign this guy? Sorry?
But you got to give him a little bit of credit, though, because I think you haven't conceded many goals for a start of this season, really. And he has been in between the sticks.
No, but this is the thing. I never trusted him. I never trusted him before he came to Chelsea. And now, you see, once you don't have trust for a player, the onus is on them for you to build that trust. So
yeah, 100. It's like Hamez, bro. It's like Hamez, 100%.
They have to prove it to you. And for me, he hasn't done enough because even if you look at Brighton, what was really at stake for him at Brighton? What was the high stakes for him at Brighton? Staying in the Premier League. That was really about it. Now you're at Chelsea. You're expected to get into the Champions League. Eventually, you're expected to be competing for the Premier League, FA Cups, all this kind of stuff. Do I trust this guy in high-pressure moments to deliver? The answer is no, because the proof is in the pudding. We just saw it against Arsenal. We gave 2 assists. You know what I mean? So here we are, man. Yeah, that's the case. Yeah,
are you saying 2 assists because he should have saved the second one? You thinking?
No, because the pass that he played for the second goal, before the second goal went in, if I remember correctly, I don't know if I'm conflating with the first goal, but I know he passed it to the left side of the pitch and it was a bit of a dodgy one. And I feel like a cross came in. I don't know. I might be wrong because I've tried to. It's painful. Of all teams, Premzy, you're a cool Arsenal fan. I swear down, you're one of the cool Arsenal fans. But just based on the fact that I grew up in Northwest London and I went to school in North London and 90% of my school were Arsenal fans when you lot were good, I cannot stand your team because I used to get crashed every single week until
Nah, I hear that, bro. I hear that.
Yeah. So
bro,
it's
I'm like that with United, bro. I'm like
yeah.
that with United, bro, Guni, because fucking I hate United more than I hate Tottenham because I'm one of the only Arsenal fans knocking around down here. You get me, bro?
Yeah.
And obviously, because obviously, if you don't know how I become an Arsenal fan, my dad from London, he married my mum and moved to Moss Side in Manchester. And then obviously when I was born, my dad said, "Nah, run that mate straight to Highbury. You get me? You're an Arsenal fan." So I've been growing up, literally repping the thing fully. But the United fans would give you hell at them times. There was nothing to do with City in it. Even though I used to come out my house and look right and City was there, they were just little man. You get me? They were quiet. They weren't really doing nothing. But United and Arsenal were going tooth and nail at it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I have that. So I totally understand, man. And to be fair, there's a lot of Arsenal fans that piss me off as well, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You get me? There's some of the shit that you hear, bro. It's crazy, man. I don't understand it.
It's mental. Can I just finish up on just one more thing?
Of course,
Nicholas Jackson. This guy is another one I called out early. I said this guy to me is not a number 9. This is not a striker. At best, he's a second striker or maybe an inside forward max. But in terms of trusting this guy one-on-one in front of the goalkeeper, I do not. And what happened against Arsenal? He had his first few got in a good position, 100%. I think it was a misplaced pass by one of you guys. Got into a good position, got to the ball first. The first thing you're thinking, if this guy's a proper striker, at least try and chip the goalkeeper. You've got the range to chip him and you've got the time to chip him. What did he do? He took a touch, he froze, attack died. I'm tired of seeing this stuff. I'm telling you. So it's these things with Chelsea. We're not really going to progress and really knock on that Champions League door until we address these key positions. Goalkeeper is a non-negotiable. Striker as well is a non-negotiable. Just thought I'd end on that point.
I was going to say, I relate to the childhood traumas. I was with Everton fans. You should have seen it. It was terrible, boys. It was terrible. All that success was hard to bear. Looks like deduction as well, which is mad.
Rumour has it James was a low-key Everton fan back in the day. You get me? Until he flipped it over. That's what I mean.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Talk about you, fam.
No, not a chance. That's the thing. In this city, you're not even like, it's not really like even a choice. I'm not saying it was for you guys. I'm just saying for us, you are born into the family that, and it's given to you. Because I had a Liverpool shirt on from get-go. Thank fuck I weren't an Everton fan, because that's the thing. it's not cool to change. I know in London they have this weird little mixture thing where, okay, there's certain Chelsea fans who used to be this set of fan and this one and this one. I remember, I'm not going to even out them.
No, it's a madness that. It's a madness that can't be changed.
Are you on to me though, Premzy? Are you on to me?
No, I'm joking, bro. I'm joking, bro. That's the one thing you know about me, bro. I just end up just saying some mad shit, just randomly, just for the sake of it.
No, I mean about Londoners. I think there's Londoners.
Nah, there is man that do that, bro. I'm telling you. And then the thing is, like, I'd be totally honest with you. If it wasn't for my dad, I'd probably be a City fan. I wouldn't even be a United fan because of where I lived and brought up. Nah, big man thing. Yeah. That's exactly how it is, because man's loyal to the roots, and that's why I've stayed as an Arsenal fan, because man's loyal. Yeah. You get me? My dad's from London. That's it, mate. Straight away, I'm just following dad, isn't it?
That's went in your favour as well, all in the end.
Bro, it's a madness. Now, if I would have been a City fan, I would have been in the money right about now. You
would have been nice. You would have been in the back still.
Bro, you know they used to offer us 2 free tickets. They offered us 2 free City tickets for living where we did, didn't you get me, bro? Do you know how much dough I made out of them doing car minding, bro? I swear down, you get me. I used to be car minding, you didn't give no peas yet. You're getting a scratch. It was mad.
I was going to say, Premzy would be one of the most gas City fans if he was actually a City fan. Low-key, I wish he was one, because besides, like, Daps, who's a legend, and then you've got Big Steve as well, I just can't think of many City fans out there, bro, who are, like, sick for the platform. So, Premzy, lad, if you're thinking it's not too late, lad, maybe make a little last-minute switch.
No, run that, mate. I'm Arsenal till I die, fam. You get me? You pay, bro. Somebody give me a fucking £1 million, £2 million to change. I wouldn't do it, bro. That's how much investment
would you not
in my club, bro. Nah, never in a million. Never.
Not even for like 3 mil.
Nah, never. I wouldn't do it.
What about
I know people
5
might think.
Nah. Guni, when does it get to a point where you think he's lying as well?
Nah, bro. I'm telling you now. If you know me, you know me. See me, bro. Loyalty to me is the most important thing in life.
I hear
bro.
that.
Any of my people around me, you can say to me, describe Premzy in one word, yeah, they'll say loyalist to the max. You get me?
I hear
would
that.
do it.
I hear that. Do you think 10 million could make you forget what loyalty means?
Do you know what? If I was really broke and I was on my ass, it might be, but God's been all right to me. You get me? I can look after myself, so I don't really need to worry about it too. So if I'm not no millionaire, but I'm not starving, you get me? So I'm all right, man.
God is good, man. God is good, man.
Keep my morals and my pride in check, bro. Because since all this social media is kicked around, bro, morals are on the floor right about now, man. I'm telling you, morals are on the floor.
Nah, facts, bro. Facts. I'm not gonna lie though. If you offered me 10 mil to be like a Saudi fan or
an Everton fan. Why are you saying Saudi fan? You know what I mean? That's out of the country. You can be a million. I'll be a Saudi fan as well. I support both teams in it, but down here, bro, Premier League. If you support, you.
I wouldn't be able to live the same in it. I wouldn't be able to live the same. Nah, 10 mil. Go move to Saudi. Yeah, 10 mil to be an Everton fan, but go move to Saudi and just support one of those teams. Why not? Why not?
But you got to understand, bro. I spend about 10 to 15 bags a season watching my team in it, bro.
Yeah.
You need to understand that. Like, bro, I travel and watch my team, and I was only because now I'm having a youth. I've just took a little step back because I got to get stuff ready. You get me? And now responsibilities are kicking in. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. So this is what I'm saying, man. Sometimes money comes, money goes, man. It's the memories that you make in it. And Arsenal for me, bro, in my heart, engraved. In my heart.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm a scumbag. I'm taking that on me. 10 mil to support a football team. Are you mad? I'm a scumbag. But boys, I was going to wrap up the show there. I don't know if there was any final thoughts that you had already, but I just want to say thank you for both coming on. And yeah, it was boss because even getting to know you more, like you're both proper gentlemen. So I'm looking forward to doing this show more in future. Of course, shout me if you ever need me for your show as well. But any final thoughts to close it out?
Post-Roman bums, yo. Post-Roman bums. I've said it time and time again. That's it, Guni. Time's over for you, my big man thing. You get me? It's not the same life anymore. It's not the same life anymore. Do you know what I hear you say about this man's coming in to start competing for Prems and all that? I'm thinking, nah.
I'm gonna do my Mourinho thing right now. I'm gonna write the time. I'm gonna write the date. Yeah. I'm gonna underline it. I'm gonna remember this. Yeah,
take a picture of it and send it to me as well. You get me? That's how confident I am. I'm telling you.
The top shot will soon be back. Listen, man. Listen, you see, for me right now, my most enjoyable periods of football is January and summer. That's it, because I know that's when we're gonna do the madness. That's it. So, so just watch this space. Watch this space.
The next billion getting spent. Oh,
it's got to be done, bro. It's got to be done. 100%.
Nah, do you know what it is? Chelsea caused me some serious pain growing up. I'm telling you, fam. You get me? These motherfuckers are winning everything. Yeah, kicking the dick, fam. Kicking.
I was there when Essien scored that goal against you.
Yo, he was a bad man, you know. So I don't think people put enough respect on his name.
Bro, I almost got ejected from the stadium. I went absolutely sick. It's going nuts. But then I don't even know how they let me in because I'm not a drinker like that. And the man was just like, listen, you're drinking before you get in there. So when that goal went in, I thought I was in my living room. But the difference is there was another 39,000+ people in the place and I was just going nuts. It was mad. Great memory, though. Good memory.
Fun times, fam. Fun times. Nah, boys, appreciate you. But before we go chat, please go subscribe to both gentlemen here. Both channels, Man Knows Football. Premzy's channel is in the description. Premzy, your channel's Premzy TV, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fam. I was making... Because I didn't know if it was Premzy AFC or Premzy TV. I was like, I hope I haven't just gave him some random guy for these subscribers. But no, that's right. So they're both in the description down below. Please go subscribe. Appreciate the boys coming on. And guys, smash a like on your way out. And we'll see you all.
Southgate out.
Love.
Southgate out, yeah. That's a good show, you know what I mean? Roy Hodgson's a shitbag as well. He nearly got us relegated in 2011. Fuck him. See you later, boys.